Bill, if you can please share.
I'm gonna.
Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us again for this week's edition of Inside Out. There's a lot of links at the top. I'm going to try and refer to them and get them all in. A lot of stuff to cover this week. Wednesday is not our normal night. I was nearly late coming in because I was watching Zach Hyland over on Hanoveri Watch Group for the Hog Slug. So when you're done checking us out, I'm going to encourage you to stay here to the end, please. But please make sure you get over and check that out. There's some information there you're going to want to know. Down in the scroll, instead of having our regular November meetings, there's plenty of time for that. Hi, Joy. Sorry, I'm looking through the bottom of my glasses because, well, I'm getting old and it's hard to see. So I'm trying to read and keep eye contact with you to make sure I get everything because there's so much to talk about. So the election's coming up soon, and so I just wanted to focus on some things you might want to know. November 5th, general election. Polls are open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. If you are a first-time voter, or for those of you who've recently moved, changed your name, possibly even changed parties, please make sure you have your ID with you, just because they're going to ask, especially if you've never voted before. If you need to verify your polling place, please reach out to your county election office. They have website, so check there, and there's lots of resources. If you're not sure where you should be going, the best way to know is to go right to the source. So as always, thank you for joining us tonight. I hope that we're bringing you some really good information. We want to check in and talk to you about what's been going on since we last spoke. There you go, 6 days till the election. Our candidates, that's kind of the focus between now and Monday. We will be back with you on Monday evening. We're going to try and get the candidates together to sit down. If you have any questions and you haven't been able to reach them, and there's still time that you could talk to them directly, you can submit them in and we will ask them on Monday night. I haven't been able to confirm with everyone if they'll be able to be there or not yet. I'm pretty sure my husband will be there because, well, I will be there. I think Dan is coming. I think, Joy, were you coming? I know you're watching. And we're looking at maybe doing it from someplace other than my house, just because we have a few distractions here with the kitties running around. And hopefully George and Mark will be able to join us as well. But there's a lot that I think... Do I think that you're going to hear anything you haven't heard before? Your mind's pretty well made up. But Mark Lookenbill, Dan Colgan, William F. Smith Jr., George Staub, all are running for the 4-year term for McSherrystown Borough Council. There are 4 seats open, and those 4 candidates are running. Joyce Murrin, or many of you know her as Joy, is running for the 2-year term. Everyone was on the ballot last time, though. Sometimes you had to either write some in or you check some off, depending on your party affiliation. George had to be written in by everyone. This time, your job's a little easier. If you're going in to vote, you just are looking for their names and filling in the dot. So, but there's a lot of other things on the ballot that you should be keeping an eye on. We talked about Marcy's Law, and we also talked about, or maybe we didn't talk about, there's some judges that they're asking you, should they be, reappointed. So if you get a chance to check over at the Adams County Election Office, their website, try to check that out and take a look at your sample ballot for wherever you live, because I know there are people who are watching who don't live in McSherrystown. But we want to make sure that if you are coming out to support, it was wonderful. The primary, we had a lot of positive support at the primary, obviously with Mark and Dan and Bill or William and George getting on the ballot for the 4-year term, and Joyce Murrin getting on the ballot for the 2-year term. You already know about them. So hopefully you, plus the people who weren't able to vote in the primary, the independents, like my aunt, hi Aunt Sue, will come out and exercise your vote. So much has gone on in the last year and a half with some negativity, but there's so much positive. So we're going to try and focus on the positive, the things that we're seeing in the communities around us as well as here. And it's not about bashing or highlighting, it's about informing. So if something is put out there that is misleading or untruthful, I want to try and bring you the information as I find it, and also point to that source so you can go there yourself. So we're going to do, oops, sorry, I bumped my mic, a little bit of that tonight, but we're going to go into a couple things because there are some questions that have been asked. So I did want to point out the drug take back was on this past Saturday. Is that the 26th? It was a great night or afternoon there. 98 pounds, I believe, is what was collected, which is great. It's going to be again in April, everyone. So get things together and bring it out and come see us in April. It would be great to have over 100 pounds in April. In the meantime, you certainly can. There's a drop box at the McSherrystown police station. If you don't live in McSherrystown or drive through McSherrystown, check with your local police department and see if they have the ability for you to drop that off. They are also taking e-cigarettes and the vape. You know, you just have to take out the battery first. But that's great to be able to have a place to take care of that. To be able to dispose of those things safely. The medication and the e-cigarettes and all that bad stuff. We want to get it out of there. Last night, trick or treat. I don't know if you were out and about. We gave out candy down on Ridge because a lot of people don't come up to our end. But it looked like there were a lot of kids out. I want to thank the Police Association for their donation of the candy that they handed out on at the police station last night. Police officers were out. The mayor was out handing out candy. Police officers were patrolling. The fire trucks were out. I will tell you, though, there were a lot of comments from people on Ridge Avenue going, "Where's the fire truck?" They're used to it being there, apparently, and they missed it. But it was really nice that they were taking that and going to other places in the community and rotating that around. The kids were adorable. The adults and the kids loved the painted rocks that were at a rock station by where we were, so they were taking candy and rocks with them. We got home and our rocks were completely gone, which was great, but that means now I need to paint more rocks. So if you get a creative streak and you'd like to paint some rocks, give me a yell and feel free to put them out here or create a rock station of your own. That would be awesome. So it was just a really nice community night, and I am so glad that, you know, our officers and our emergency services, sorry, I had a cat jump up here, were out and about, you know, lighting up the community, not just with their LEDs, but with their presence. It was really a great evening, and I hope we can have more community events where we come together like that in the future. There you're seeing a cat walk across the camera. I do want to mention that, let me just look here. We have, Friday. Friday, there are two games that everybody in town might want to be aware of, or some out of town. On November 1st, Colonials are facing off against Northeastern High School at 7 p.m. at Northeastern. The winner of Friday's game will advance to the 5A quarterfinals on November 8th at West Shore Stadium, facing Cedar Cliff. So good luck, Colonials. Awesome job getting here. And we also have DeLone on November 1st. We'll be meeting Steelton High Spire at War Veterans Memorial Field in Steelton at 7 p.m. This is the Class 2A semifinals. The winner of Friday night's game will be heading to the Class 2A championship November 8th and facing off against either Upper Dauphin or Newport. We're going to have to wait and see who wins that contest between Upper Dauphin and Newport to know who the winner of Friday night's challenges will be and where the finals will be held. I do want to mention that thanks to an anonymous donation, DCBN will be able to broadcast the DeLone Steelton game. So if you're unable to attend but you still want to support the Squires, check the Facebook page for DeLone. And also, Tim, we share the link for the YouTube link, or go to look for DCBN Broadcasting via the link above I have up there. And cheers to the Squires. Come tune in or come join to cheer the Squires on to victory. I really would like to wish both the Colonials and the Squires the best of luck. Please pray for the safety of all the teams in travel and on the field. If you've been paying attention on Facebook, there were 2 really notable exceptions of injuries that were severe. It's uncommon. They just happened to happen last Friday night with injuries on the field with players. So while it is a high school sport, it is still can be dangerous. So, please keep everyone who's going to be traveling to and from that game and playing that day in your prayers. Before we go on to election news, there are a couple things that I would like to, questions I wanted to answer. Let me just see here. Just a couple questions came to me since the last time we were on the air, and one of them might have even been before that, but I had to get the answer because I wasn't really sure. So one of the questions was, what do the candidates mean by transparency? Well, hopefully you'll reach out to the candidates and you'll ask them yourself directly. I can't answer for the candidates, but I certainly can answer based on my conversations with them, things that they have posted online, and things that they have said on Facebook or Inside Out or the Tim page. Transparency is getting the community involved and making sure those discussions happen publicly, making sure the information gets to you, the constituents, before action is taken, if possible. I mean, if there's an emergency, I don't know how exactly that's handled. We haven't had one of those yet. But, if there's a project need that comes up, they discuss it. They talk to the neighbors. They get it out there in public. I did put 2 links up in the comments or in the description. I really would like to encourage you to go check them out. Both are to Gettysburg Borough. One is their agenda, and the other is meeting minutes. They do a phenomenal job of putting in there the sunshine law, details. Like if they're dealing with a legal matter, they just don't say legal matter. They tell you the details. If it's a pending case, they put all that information in there. But they actually list that in the agenda and again in the meeting minutes. So I'm hoping that our candidates are looking at things like that and looking at other boroughs. I know they are looking at other boroughs, but I hope to see things like that translate here for transparency. And in my conversations with the candidates, not all the candidates, some of the candidates one-on-one, that is a very clear example of how they'd like to see things change. Bill is the easiest example I can give you. I did show him that and talk to him about that. And it's just one of those things where the more information the community member has, the less questions and the less room for ambiguity there is. So transparency is really pretty much bringing those things out into the front, into the daylight, not behind closed doors. I'm not going to pretend that there aren't needs for executive sessions, but they should be done as little as possible and as thoughtfully as possible with giving the community as much information as possible. So that was one question. Another question was, when you say the council did something or broke the rules, why don't you focus on the one that did or said something? You being me. If you've been watching the meetings or if you've been watching Inside Out, then you might know that I do say the council a lot, and I have tried to explain this before, but if there's a question still out there, I should go back to it again. When an action is taken at a meeting or outside of a meeting, nobody is dissenting to it. So if one of the council members brings up something and another individual at the table might verbally support it, okay, the other 5 or 6 maybe aren't saying anything, but when it comes time for a vote, they're saying yes. Or no one's asking questions. No one's taking the time to say, maybe we should look into this a little further and come back. We need more information. They're not asking why. They're not asking how. They're seeming to completely and totally have that all together sitting in the room month after month. So while it may be one person this month who brings something up or one person in next month who brings something up, the reason I refer to this council or the sitting council is because they appear to be acting as a whole. So there's there's some concern about that. So I hope that that's clear. If it's not clear, ask me again. I'll try to, it's rather than call out one person. There is so much to call out. I would have no time to do anything else. So really, it's sort of the council, because they're a cohesive unit. They appear to be a cohesive unit. Oh my gosh, sorry, I have a kitten walking across the keyboard. So that is why I refer to the council rather than individuals. Finally, I was asked if I had heard anything more about the voicemail message that was discussed back in the August meeting when the police association gave their statement. The council was like a little incredulous about that statement and that voicemail. And then it was brought up again in the September meeting when Councilman Pasco and Rob Nider had some statements directly relating to that. I do not have exact quotes, but if you go to the September meeting about 44 minutes in, Councilman Pasco says the voicemail is complete nonsense, I believe, I'm paraphrasing. And Rob leans back, points to his paper, and said there are things in this that aren't true. But they're not identified as to what's not true, so it left the impression the focus was the voicemail based on, you have to watch the meeting if you didn't see it. But it was well, the police association, all the officers in the police association, it was a unanimous statement put forward. They were called liars. The mayor was called a liar, especially relating to that voicemail. I do need to say that I went to the mayor and I asked permission to be able to tell you that I asked him, since I was asked directly about this. He said that I could repeat to you what he said to me, which was that the mayor has heard the voicemail. The council member clearly identifies themselves as the caller. The council member who is letting the message very plainly says that they're exhausted. Now I don't know if that means the committee or the council, and they're just going to go to arbitration. Again, I don't know if they is the four on the committee or the whole of the council. So I have not heard it. I didn't ask to hear it. I definitely, I'm not trying to cross a line by going for information I can't have, but I did want to make sure I confirmed with the mayor, and the mayor said, yes, it exists, yes, it's preserved, and yes, he heard it. So that is what I know about the voicemail. So if you have any more questions about that, please reach out. Reach out to the mayor. Sorry, I'm just looking here. Edition has voting info on pages 8. So if you Gettysburg Times and you're looking for voting information, because we're going to be going back to the voting in a second, that's good to know. And let's see. George, thank you for sharing this and having your friends. Hi, Mary. I just want to say, just for a second, Mary, if you're still listening, I love you, and I'm going to get in touch with you very soon, and we need to catch up. So I saw her watching, and I just needed to say hi. So, the whole point of telling you these things isn't to tattle. It's to correct misconceptions. So if there's anything that we haven't cleared up and you have questions or concerns, please bring it to my attention. We're going to do our very best to bring you that information. The election's in 6 days, everyone. If you haven't talked to somebody yet, if you don't know who you're voting for, if you don't know who's on the ballot, now is the time. The clock is ticking. I just had the sample ballot up here. I'm going to put it up again. This is for McSherrystown. All the sample ballots are out, whether you're York County or Adams County. On the 4-year term, again, it's William F. Smith Jr., Mark Lookenbill, Daniel Colgan, George Staub listed. You have an incumbent listed there. And on the council member, the 2-year term is Joyce Murrin, and we also have an incumbent listed there. So, encourage everyone, if Tuesday, come on out and vote. I can't say that enough. That is your voice. You came out at the primary, you made your voice heard very loudly, And I appreciate that. The candidates appreciate that, but we need to do it again one more time, because really it doesn't feel like they were listening. And when I say they, I mean our current sitting council. If you are in Adams County, well, anywhere across the state, the 29th was your last day to apply for absentee ballot. I want to thank all those who planned ahead and applied and submitted their absentee ballots. We've heard from quite a few of them. Adams County, the polling places are open. Well, that's statewide. 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So there are links above in the post to know your rights. And again, I can't stress enough, and I'm going to say it one more time next week, if you make a mistake, just ask for help. That's what they're there for. They'll help you with a new ballot. And if you're a new voter, I have 2 new voters in my house. Well, my son's not a new voter, but voting in this election, if you make a mistake, just, ask. They're here to help you. So we want to make sure to get their information out to you as much as possible. We have some exciting news that we're bringing you from our neighbors. I don't know how many people are listening tonight, or if you are listening and you have friends who live in Penn Township. I was just made aware that for the Penn Township Commissioner's race, there are 2 write-in options that are just they feel like their voices haven't been heard in Penn Township, and they just wanted to do something. Now, some of you may know that one of the commissioners, Joe Klunk, has recently passed away, and they're actually having a meeting tonight to appoint someone in his absence. So I don't know if that person is going to be whoever's appointed is going to be seeking the seat, but you do have 2 options, Bill Bowman and Joan Potter. I don't know Joan personally. I do know Bill. He aligns a lot with where I am, as far as I can tell from the conversations that we've had. Transparency is a big deal. Getting the community involved is a big deal for him. So if you're in Penn Township, make sure you share the information. And if you don't know those candidates, seek them out. I am sure they will be at the polls that day, and they will want to talk to you. Also, this was pushed out today from the Stop the Eisenhower Drive Extension page. Conewago Township had 2 individuals on the ballot. There's 1 incumbent who's on the ballot across the 6, the 4, and the 2-year terms. So Charlotte Schaefer has already announced, she spoke at the meeting on the 21st regarding running for the 6-year term in Conewago Township supervisor race. But we have 2 write-ins. 4-year term is Tom Klunk. I believe Tom serves on one of the boards. I don't remember if it's the planning or zoning, but he is running because he's not happy with the things that he saw and he heard leading up to, and especially at that meeting. That meeting on the 21st really opened some people's eyes. Also, a 2-year term, a familiar name some of you may know, asking for your write-in vote, is Tom Weaver. So if you have options, Conewago Township. If you're not happy with the way things are going there, you have options. It's really great to see the good that's come out of things. Not just in McSherrystown. You see the people coming together, you see the communities coming together, you see people wanting to make a difference and to make a change. So it's really great to see that kind of support and have people ask about the candidates and they want to know what Bill's thinking, they want to know where Mark stands on things. Dan has had a lot of interaction with the community. Joy's been in and out, talking to people. Same for George. He's at work right now listening. Ears are open, eyes are open. But you look at Hamilton Township and see what they did with their zoning board. You look at Butler Township and see what they did with their zoning board. Conewago Township, the people came out. They came out for the gun range. They didn't want what was going on. And it shows that if you put the information out there to the community, they will come out and they will respond. They don't want to fight to get to know what they should know because you should be sharing it with them. Again, with the Eisenhower Drive situation, people in Conewago Township came out and they showed up and they advocated for themselves. they feel like they're not being listened to. So we have two people, Tom Weaver and Tom Klunk, who stepped up for write-ins and said, we can't just leave it to Charlotte to go in there on her own and try and fight this battle. We want to go in there and try to be a set of ears that if you walk into that meeting, you're going to be heard. Penn Township is doing the same thing. They have Joan Potter and Bill Bowman who are saying, I got to do something. I understand it's last minute, but doing something at the last minute is better doing nothing at all. So again, they're right in. The turnout at McSherrystown was high in the primary with an unprecedented number of write-ins, which is amazing to know that, you came, you were given the information and that you came out. And that, we've already won McSherrystown. You're engaged, you're listening, you're hearing, and hopefully you're going to come out on Tuesday and help really make a difference. We are going to try and get together with you again. Monday, November 4th, I will be there no matter what. I'm hoping the candidates join me. The next Borough Council meeting is Wednesday, November 13th at 7 p.m. By the next meeting, we'll have all the meetings up so that you can know where they are if you're doing that. And, you can check us out on YouTube. Everything is uploaded up till tonight. I'll get that uploaded tonight. But it's wonderful. It's wonderful that you're engaging. I'm hearing a lot of things from people going, oh, wow, I wish they had someone coming on and filling us in our area. I wish we had our meetings live streamed. You can do that. It's easy enough to do. An iPhone, an iPad, it works. And it's just something that simple that gets the information out there. And doing this, we will continue to do this regardless of the outcome on Tuesday. I've heard a lot of positive feedback, so I'm hoping that we will have a reflection of the primary. And, there's just, I could go on and on, but it is 7:27. We're up on a half hour. So if there's anything I missed or anything you want to know about, please reach out to us. Charlotte says on here, the Tim coverage of the Conewago Township Supervisors meeting on 10/21 speaks volume as to why it's important to vote. It really, your voice makes a difference. Your voice is your vote. Make sure your voice is heard. So, essentially on that note, I'm going to say good night and God bless. And I hope that we will get to have a good chat again on Monday. We're not going to take it too late into the evening, but I would like to give you the opportunity to touch base with candidates that you want to hear from. So reach out to me if you have any specific questions, or reach out to the candidates so that they know what you're interested in and they can get back to you on that. So until next time, I guess, good night, God bless.